afternoon, everyone. Can you believe it? It's another Celebrity Share the Vibe. And because of June is a celebrity month, I'm actually so honored to actually start and kick off the month with Margaret Hirsch. Now, Margaret, normally I introduce everyone and I say, Margaret, you know, you've done so much, etc., etc. But I want to leave it today to you. Please tell us who you are and what exactly are you doing?
Well, I'm the co-owner of the biggest independent appliance, bedding, and electronics and furniture company in South Africa. We started way back in 1979, and that's such an advantage because when you've been at it a long time, it's now 41 years we've been at it, we've been through this type of thing so many times before in so many different ways that we know that we can come through it. We know that we're going to get through this, and we just know that we've got to keep on going. And a lot of smaller companies, and I do help businesses as well, as you know, I've got my Entrepreneurs Club, where we had up to 286. We've actually extended it to able to accommodate 500 businesses on a Friday at 11 o'clock. Every Friday at 11 o'clock, I work with Action Coach, Marlene from Action Coach in Durban, and we help businesses to know that they can get through this, to help them to get through it, and to show them how to get through it, because some of them have never done it before. I've done this before. This is probably the 100th time I'm going through a crisis like this. You know, we built up our business from 1979 and 1988. We made a really bad decision. I made the bad decision to buy a going concern. And we literally had not only all our money, but money that we didn't have taken from us. And we had to people say, oh, Margaret, you started your business with 900 Rand. Yes, I did. I built it up until I had 2 million Rand in the bank. But that day, I not only lost my 2 million Rand, but I lost another 3 million as well. I lost 5 million Rand that quick in one afternoon. And to be able to get back from that and start all over again from minus 3 million and come up again, I think that sort of taught us that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. So I think it's really, really important for people to know that no matter what life throws at you, God is walking this with you, and He will help you to get through it and get to the other side of it. So I think that's really important. So for anybody who's got a business and thinks, what am I going to do? Just know that we had no backstop. And I think that's the big thing. We had no way of going back. We could only go forward. So if you're in a business at the moment and you're saying to yourself, oh my goodness, should I close? Must I carry on? Just know that you've got to just keep moving forward. You know, they say, if you can't run, you've got to walk. If you can't walk, you've got to crawl. And if you can't crawl, just keep moving forward, because so long as you keep moving, you'll be fine. And that's, I think, what we've all got to think about at this time. I think the other important thing is we taught to focus on the positive, not the negative. Now, most people, and I know because I come from a very negative family. If you ask my mother what's the weather like, she'll say it's as hot as hell or it's as cold as charity. It's never right, you know. So I've come out of a negative background, and I've seen how those people have struggled going through life with a negative attitude. And I realized that I couldn't change my past, but I could change my attitude. And if I changed my attitude, I would change my altitude. And that's taken me to great heights. The other thing I've found is if you build your own self-confidence, because I came from a family where my mother kept putting me down because it made her feel good. And I realized that from doing that, I could keep putting myself down, or I could say, this is not going to happen to me. And I can change the way I think about myself. And as my self-esteem came up, so my bank balance came up. And all of those of you who are suffering from low self-esteem, and we all have those times when we have those doubts coming into our minds, we've got to know that if we can just build ourselves up, and I think that's the beauty of these webinars. It helps you to build yourself up so that you become a stronger person and you can go forward with strength and with courage. And I think in this time, this is when you draw on that courage. I've got a friend who's gone for a procedure in hospital today. She said, Margaret, it's the first time, I mean, she's 30 years old. She says, it's the first time I've ever been for a procedure. I don't even know what to expect. And I said, just know that you're going to come out of it fine. You know, don't worry. She's a doctor, which makes it worse. I said, don't worry, you know too much. I said, when I went to my first procedure, I didn't know anything. I just lay there and chips, I went to sleep and came out and it was all fixed. So sometimes you know too much, but you just got to focus on what you want. And Dr. Stephen Covey always teaches, start with the end in mind. You know, most people don't get what they want in life because they don't know what they want.
Correct.
So if you know exactly what you're looking for and what you're aiming at. So what I say to people at this time is just describe your business to somebody in the future. Go a year or 2 years or 5 years in the future. Describe your business, what you want it to look like. Explain it exactly to them. And the more intricate you can get and the finer the details, the faster you'll get there. Because by doing that and working with the end in mind, as you come back to today, you find you've actually set the steps that you have to climb to get to where you want to be.
And that's
if you know where you're going, you'll get there. Yeah.
And you know, it's so true. And guys, I'm going to put down the link right now. You'll see down on the screen below. I've actually put down the link for the business coaching every Friday. So click on it and join Margaret and the action coaches, because they are really good. And you know, at this point in time, we are really battling. You know, when you've got your back against the wall, we think it's only you. But you need to understand there's a lot of people going through the same scenario right now. And if you can actually take that and actually build from it and actually build a great network, you can propel to the future and you can get back to this. Now, Margaret, tell me, I mean, you are so motivated. What makes you motivated? Because everybody goes, we are so tired for all these motivated gurus and telling us just keep positive, etc. But we all are going through our down days. And rightly so, you also had a few down days during the lockdown and we feel frustrated. But how do you keep yourself motivated and keep yourself going?
Well, you know, I love people and I work with people all the time. As you know, I run my ladies group. So the first week of the month, I do kitchen capers, which I'm doing today, where we work in the kitchen and we just make nice things. And I mean, a lot of us have never cooked so much in our lives as we have recently. I've had people who have never switched their stove on. They phone me and say, I don't know, I bought that stove from you 5 years ago, Margaret, but I don't even know how to switch it on. And I said, well, you know, get the book, let's do this, you know, turn this dial, turn that dial. And they're cooking for the first time in years.
Yes.
So we're doing kitchen capers where we're teaching you to cook quick and easy things. If you follow me on Facebook, every day I put out something very quick, something easy, something that you can use with the ingredients you've got in your cupboard.
Yep.
The second week of the month, I have my ladies groups, and I love my ladies groups. Any lady who's in a business, wants to start a business, can join our ladies groups. We run them Durban, Cape Town, and Joburg, and you can join from anywhere in the country now. We do it on Zoom, so you can join up, and we just get together. And you know, women like to vent, they like to chat, they like to tell you what they're doing, they like to hear what you're doing, they're quizzy, they want to see what you're wearing, see what your makeup's look. So I mean, you know that, and women love that. So they love my ladies meetings. It's called Women in Business. The third week of the month, I teach domestic workers. You know, the poor domestic workers, they're sitting at home now. My domestic worker's working from home, so I'm doing all her work here. And she says, I'm missing you. Every day she writes, Madam, I'm missing you so much. I'm missing my house. I'm missing everything. So we get together with the domestic workers and we just keep them motivated, because sometimes you forget about them. They're sitting at home now. They've got no money. What are they going to do? Their UIF came through last month. They haven't even opened UIF for this month. So we've got to help them and help them to keep motivated. And then, I sent my domestic worker a pick and pay voucher so that she can go and at least buy some food. You know, I mean, how can I get it to her? So she's got a voucher. I just loaded the money in. Yeah. So just to look after those. And the third week of the month, I do my networking breakfast, which are men and women, little businesses in each area. And we do them area by area so that the areas can support each other. It's so important at this time that we support each other. And then, of course, my absolute best is my WOW meetings, which is my Woman of Worth. And last night, I love those. It was my Cape Town chapter, and I had Dawn Lindbergh as my speaker. And, you know, Dawn's been married for 55 years to Des, and she comes from the flower power in the 60s when they were singing, you know, the seagull's name was Nelson, the Gezumpa Dibaya, and all those songs. And she's come through now. And what a lot of people don't know about Dawn is she had a fine arts degree from Wits. And at the moment, she is drawing. She does like pencil drawings, but when I tell you they're beyond fabulous, they are so nice. And guess what her subject is? One of her main subjects is nude men. And she's doing these drawings of nude men while she had us in hysterics last night. She was so fun. So that's what motivates me. I just speak to other people. I help other people. I teach entrepreneurs. Of course, my entrepreneurs, I love my entrepreneurs. I help them to grow their businesses. And it's so rewarding. You know, Carmen, who's got a wedding dress design business in Joburg, is one of my ladies. And she was on last night. And she was doing these amazing wedding dresses. And then she started sewing masks. And she's got amazing bling masks. I mean, how nice is that? You know, I want a bling mask.
Exactly.
And now from today, she said now they've told from next week they can start doing weddings again. So she went from having a register that was fully booked for the whole year to having everything cancelled. And now she's got a wedding for August, she's got a wedding for September, and now her weddings are starting to come through.
And now I can start again.
And that just gives me such joy that she's come through doing her masks while there were no wedding dresses. And now the weddings are starting. She's starting to do her wedding dresses again. So when you're working with people, and I think that's why we need these Zoom meetings, because people love people. We feed off each other's energy. We need that energy that we're getting, even if it is through the computer, just to get us going and keep us going and make us think out the box. You know, I think that's what we need.
And it's so true, you know, especially with human behavior. I mean, you know as well. You know, it's all about interaction. And if we don't have that, and you're going to sit in a corner and going to say, you know, we've got lockdown. I'm feeling so sorry for myself. I'm missing work. I'm missing this. You are going to die because you need to get out there and you have to take it out of comfort zone and start getting to know new things. This is a perfect time for you right now to actually start educating yourself, online courses and things to do and interact with people. Now, Margaret, people don't know a lot. I mean, I know for a fact what your age is, but please tell us and tell me, how do you keep so energetic every single day at your age, and there's no stopping you and no time of retirement soon for you?
Yeah, well, I'd say I keep reinventing myself because I'm 70 this year. And I mean, it's been a wonderful journey. I could not have wished for better. The greatest thing in my life was my husband, who's my life partner. We've been married for 48 years. So I think, you know, that just helps you if you've got a good support system. I've got a really good support system in my PA who does everything for me. Her name's Faye, and she's my right-hand man. I've got a fabulous support system in my assistant, whose name is Shane, and he does a lot of work for me as well. So I think, you know, nobody can go forward completely on their own. You have to have a support system, and you have to have that backup. And of course, I've got a wonderful team of directors that have been with me sort of 30 odd years. So that's good. And we built up those relationships over time. I've got a wonderful relationship with my staff. I know every one of them by name. I know their families. I know where they live. I know their car that won't start this morning. And I know all the stories. So I am involved with them. We've got a massive staff and we love them. And then I've got to ask my suppliers. I could not do my job if it wasn't for my suppliers. They are my backup. And, you know, a little old Indian man in Peter Marisburg taught me this many years ago. He owns a company called Phoenix Cash and Carry. And he said, Margaret, look after your suppliers because one day you'll need them to look after you. And it came so true now because now we need our suppliers and they are looking after us and they're making sure that we've got stock. Our stock is starting to come in now, thank the Lord, and we can be up and we're running. We go on to full level 3 on Monday and we are so excited. We still, you know, we're sanitizing. We've got 3 teams, 1 in, 1 off, and 1 in reserve. And they're working together. And it's just amazing that we've come through this whole thing. And now we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm really praying for all the hairdressers, the beauticians, and that they're going to hear something good this month. And they can get back to it because we all need them desperately.
We all need them desperately.
So yeah, I think it's starting to come right now, and I think that I think, as I said to you, the nice thing about being older is that you've been through it before. You know you have come through it. You know you can come through it. And you know that you just got to keep on going. And you know, I love property as well. And I think our strength at Hirsch's is that we own all our own properties. Yes. So when we went through this time where we had no income from a month, we could draw on our access bonds.
Correct.
And I say that to every single business owner: buy a property, no matter how hard it is. Buy a property, put down a deposit, and start paying it off. Because one day it'll be paid for, and then you can either trade for free in that property, or you can use it as an access bond to access money in a hurry and to be able to get yourself up and running again. Yeah.
And on a personal level, Margaret, how do you stay energetic? How do you get your body, what type of health, food, etc., exercises? What are you doing? Because obviously, from a business point of view, you've got all the support. But as in on a personal level, how do you look after yourself to stay so young of heart and really going out at that?
Well, you know, I've always been vegetarian my whole life. I've never eaten meat, chicken, or fish. I used to taste it when I had a cooking school. I taught cooking for 17 years of my life. So I used to have to work with meat, chicken, and fish then, which I really didn't like. But I've never really eaten it. I've had a taste of it occasionally, but I've never eaten it as a proper meal. So I think that's the secret of my success. I'm now completely vegan, which means I don't have milk or eggs or cheese or anything like that, yogurt, nothing like that. And I think having a plant-based diet is just so good for you. And those of you who were on my webinar with Tamara Pfeiffer, Dr. Tamara Pfeiffer, who is just amazing. I mean, she's got a body like a model. Geez. And she teaches what to eat. And, you know, people don't realize that your body is a machine and the food you put in is the fuel you put into it. If you put good fuel, you know, when I bought my Porsche, which I really love, and I worked hard for it and I paid cash for it, when I bought my Porsche, it's a diesel Porsche. And the guy said to me, Margaret, this is a diesel Porsche. If you put petrol in it, it will not go again. Don't come and tell me you've messed it up because I'm not interested in you.
Yes.
Sign this piece of paper and say, this is a diesel Porsche, you're going to put diesel into it. And I know that I've got to put diesel into it if I want it to go. If I put petrol in it, it won't go. And I think as human beings, when we came to this earth, God should have said, you've got to put plants into your body. You eat a plant-based diet. Because look at me, I work a 20-hour day, 7 days a week. Yep. So don't say I need the meat for energy. You really don't.
Correct.
I'm healthy. For the first time in my life, I'm doing yoga over the webinar with my friend Glenda. She's teaching me. We even do face yoga to help get rid of all the wrinkles in faces. And it's really funny because she lives in a townhouse, so she's got neighbors really close by on both sides. And we have to pull faces at each other and just say, I'm amazing. And her neighbors say, would you like this bottle of wine? I think you sort of need it. So I think yoga definitely makes you supple. You know, I see my friends who are 70 who are sort of shuffling along and bent over. And I have Shane who tells me to straighten up every time I'm on TV. Straighten up, Margaret. So I think, you know, doing yoga definitely has helped. It's made me more supple. Eating a plant-based diet, I wish I'd have gone onto a full plant-based diet years ago because I feel so healthy with it. I don't take supplements at all. I actually hate them. My husband's always giving me pills and say, take this pill, and I just don't.
No.
So I think, it's what you put into your body, which was what comes out. If you put good, healthy, living things into your body and not dead things, you'll definitely be much more alive.
Yeah. And that's so true, you know, and always what you say, it's not just, and when we talk about health, people think it's about what we put into our mouth, but it's also what we put into our mind. And, you know, if we can put positive things in our mind, because what we whisper to ourselves echoes in our life. So whatever we put in here or in our mind, we're going to represent it in our life. So we have to be very conscious of what we tell ourselves and what we do with ourselves to present it to the world. Yeah. You know, we cannot complain about what we look like if we use it as a dumb.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also talking about your mind, you've got to work on expanding your mind a long time. I mean, we started many years ago. For my 50th birthday, which was now 20 years ago, my husband gave me a course with Anthony Robbins in the States. And we did that Anthony Robbins course, and that really is life-changing. And when I came back, I continued to do courses. We had a guy called Alan Kleinhans in Durban then who was doing them. He's now doing them from overseas. Robin Banks, who I absolutely love. I'm doing Robin Banks's course again for the 4th time. I'm doing his new course. And it was just so amazing to be on the webinar with Robin Banks and the people who came in. And I was telling them the story when I went for my first Mind Power course, how this little guy came in pushing his wife in a wheelchair. She had contacted multiple sclerosis, I think it was. She was in a wheelchair, and there was such a sweet young couple. She was about 23 and he's about 26. And he came pushing in a wheelchair. And they said, we've tried everything else. Now we're going to try Mind Power. And it's a 4-week course. The next week she came in on crutches and she said, I've been doing my Mind Power and I'm just that much stronger. The next week she came in with a stick. And the 4th week when we graduated, she came in walking by herself and she went up and she gave testimony. She said, my mind has conquered this disease. My mind is so strong. And you know, when you do the Anthony Robbins course, you actually do the fire walk where you walk barefoot over red hot coal. And people say you can't do that. Well, I've done it 3 times. And we've got wonderful Kubis Visser in this country who does the fire walk. So if you want to do it, you know, when you walk barefoot over fire and you have not burnt your feet, just using your mind, you know how powerful your mind is.
Completely changes it.
If you know how powerful your mind is and you know that you can do that, you know that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And I think that is the key.
Absolutely. Margaret, I'm so enjoying our conversation, and I'm sure a lot of people say, ask her this or ask her that. But the last question I have to you, really, what is the message out there today for people who are recovering now and as we get out of lockdown? What's your message to everyone out there today?
You know, you can't change the past, but you can change the future. So it's up to you to decide that you're going to live a life of abundance. It's up to you to decide you're going to come out of lockdown a better person than you went in. It's up to you to decide that you're going to have a fun-filled life, that you can have everything that you want if you put your mind to it. And as I said to you, as that girl fixed her body using her mind, you can fix your bank account using your mind. You can fix your relationships using your mind. You can fix anything that you want. You can get over an addiction. I mean, I've had people who've been smoking since they were 12 come to me and say, Margaret, I couldn't buy cigarettes. And you know what? I've actually now given up and I feel so much better for it. So, you know, I had people who used to drink a bottle of wine a night saying, Margaret, I've run out of wine now and I'm just drinking cold drink and I'm drinking water and I just feel like a different person. So, you know, come out of this a better person than you went in. Come out of this knowing you can have everything you want. Come out of this knowing what you're reaching for. What is your goal? I've redone all my goals because obviously my goals were a lot of traveling. So I had to cancel my traveling trips, but now I'm resetting them for next year. Yes. Reset your goals. Know what you're aiming at, because whatever you aim at, if you put your mind to it, you can get it. Thank you.
And that's so true. Thank you so much, Margaret. I really, really appreciate it. And like everybody know, Margaret is one of my biggest mentors because, you know, when you look at this vibrant energy and dynamic woman, you know you can do it. Nothing in life stops you to do the same. Margaret, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you and namaste.
Namaste.